Okay, YouTube is ready.
All right.
Okay, YouTube is ready.
All right, I got Facebook Live on. All right. Let's see. I need to do something. Hold on. I need another box. Give me a minute. I'll be right here.
Jody.
All right. Here we go. All right. Okay. So we good. Should be good to go. All right. So tell me when you're ready to start. I guess we start with what we have. It's 8:32. So, let me know when you're ready, and then we start it up.
Yeah, we ready. YouTube is going, so we can start.
All right, hold on. Let me start the Facebook Live. All right, good. So we're on Facebook Live. All right. So hello, welcome to our second edition of Men Chat from Jericho Road Inc. And today we're going to discuss dynamics of a relationship. And just to note, the way this works is we all have to interact. This I could do in a whole seminar, but it's important to hear your ideas and how you feel about the relationships that you had and what's going on with how you feel about the things that we are saying and how it affects you and how we take it into our lives and how we change it. The dynamics is when we look at the divorce rate from the Green State University, we looked at more than half of the people that get married will be divorced. And then it also says that Black women have, as a collective group, higher divorce rate than marriage rate. So that we know that the relationships are in trouble and that the dynamics need to be fixed. They said most people are living in a relationship where they're either unsure of what they are, unsure of who they are, unsure of what's going on, and at the end of the day, they're just going through the dramatics and the status of just living a relationship and going through day to day, but not living in a happy relationship. We want to discuss how do we take that from just living in a relationship into living into a happy relationship and into having a better life, right? Because that sets the tone not only for the relationship that's going on now, but it sets the tones for the future generation and the kids that we have, right? So it's important for us to want to change. It's important for us to want to get that self-awareness. Everybody agree? I hope. All right. So what we're here to do is this is not mainly about us. This is mainly about us as a group of men coming together to see how we can affect change, how we can help each other and help others to affect change in their relationships. And I know that we all ain't perfect. We didn't come with a diagnostic manual of how to conduct ourselves. Or a lot of times we as men didn't get the proper guidance or didn't get the proper role models in our life to conduct ourselves into certain situations. So, and especially with the nuances that's coming on with COVID and the new era of living, there's a lot of dynamics that's changing in relationships. Even the things that was expected of us before is now that it's not what it is now, and the dynamics have changed. And in those dynamics, this is why today the topic is, what is the dynamic that changes a relationship, right? So we understand that you perpetuate unhealthy and ineffective ways by the way you see yourself and the way you see your partner, right? So by increasing your self-awareness, you help to improve yourself, not only improve yourself, but how you emotionally connect to your partner. Now, let's see. So there's 4 ways to connect to your partner, right? A lot of us, we believe a certain thing but do something different. That's what we call cognitive dissonance. When you're doing something that conflicts with your beliefs, right? And a lot of us are in that cognitive dissonance mode, and we have to look for different attachment lifestyles. We have to understand, and we have to break this down into a framework where we can understand the person that we're dealing with and understand their behaviors in order for us to know how to conduct ourselves. Love is just not enough, right? Because love in a relationship doesn't encompass emotional behaviors or understanding what people want. A lot of times we get what we call sidetracked by what we think a relationship was supposed to be in theory and compared to what it actually is. And what it actually is totally different from what we have in our minds. So we get frustrated because we think we're doing all the right things, but we're not doing the things to what we're actually living in, right? If that makes sense. So so let me just give you a background. We're going to talk about how we develop these relationships, right? So we have what we call infants. From survival, they depend on caretakers. They depend on the parents for survival. So they are hardwired to connect with people. They have to connect because they can't do anything for themselves. So in that interim, they have to know, like when they look at you, they have to see a smile. When they call you, you have to respond, right? Because these are the things that they need for their survival, because they can't go up and get it themselves. They don't know their environment, but they are hardwired to master their environment. So it's up to us to teach them how to master that environment. So it's up to us to provide these necessary things in order for them to survive, right? So at the end of the day, we have what we call the attachment series, right? So what we know about the attachment series. So children who depend and seek love from parents and that don't get it, they become anxiety, they become anxious, they become despondent, and they get despair, right? And so this carries on into their future relationships. But let's look at the attachment styles that we have. There's 4, but I really want to concentrate on 3, right? So we have the secure relationship, right? The secure attachments. Secure attachments are basically those that are comfortable in a secure and loving environment where they feel free to either talk and have understanding from the parents, right? And they feel worthy of love. Preoccupied attachment, I'm gonna give you an example before I get into it. Let's meet Rachel. Rachel is a person, she loves her boyfriend. She seeks his love so that she could feel that she's worthy of love, because in her perception, she doesn't feel like she should be loved. The problem is that when her boyfriend gives her the love that she wants, it doesn't fit into her self-perception of who she is. So even though he's giving her that affection, she rejects it because that's not her self-perception of who she is. But she's seeking that love from him, right? So it's confusing to the boyfriend because he's giving her the love that she wants, but she's still upset. I don't know if you've seen relationships like that, but they have a lot of those around. And it's confusing to the person because they don't understand. But what it needs to be understood is that at infancy, she didn't get that attention that she needed as a child. And so because of being rejected so much, she felt unworthy of being loved. And now she took that into a future relationship, looking for people to find love for her, right? All right. So that's the 2. We call it preoccupied love, okay? And we also know that those people who are in preoccupied love, they overreact to problems and they underestimate their ability to cope, right? So they scan problems looking in their past, present, and future. So if there's not a problem in the present, they create a problem from the past. And if there's not a problem in the past, they create a problem in the future. But there's always going to be a problem with them, because the problem is not them, though. It's how they feel about themselves. It's about their self-perception. So no matter what's going on, they're always going to find a problem where they think that you don't love them, right? Or you're not paying enough attention. So essentially what I'm saying is there's nothing you can do to stop the problem at this point, unless they get that self-awareness of what the problem is and they allow themselves to be loved. Make sense? Everybody with me so far? Or do I need to explain it all again? It's cool. All right. So now the worst one we have is the dismissing attachment. So as you know, we call them the ones needy for love, but they reject love, right? Most people reject love, or they're not in a relationship, a long-term relationship, because they feel that they're not going to get the support that they need. And in order to not be rejected or feel rejected, because who knows, the worst thing that a person that is fearful for rejection is a person saying no to them. For a person that is in secure love, if you tell them no, they'll go to the next person and keep talking like it's nothing. But there's always that person that if you tell them no, they go into a coma and they look at themselves and they begin to cry and they think about all the things that they are not. And that's why you got so much people doing cosmetic surgeries over and over again. You got so much people buying expensive clothes, thinking the clothes is what's going to make them. You got so much people buying exaggerated jewelry, thinking that this is me and you're going to love me for who I am. Instead of the people loving them for the character and the person that they are. But they buy, so when you see a person overdevelop and buy all these things, is because they're insecure about themselves and they're looking for people to love them. And because they're not getting, or they don't think that they're unworthy of love, they think that these material things will make them lovable. But getting back to the dismissive attachment. So in this case, let's say Chris, right? This is the person that we're going to use. We're going to say Chris. So Chris is in a relationship and his job sends him to travel to different places, right? So his wife is telling him, or his girlfriend is telling him, hey, you know what? Check in a little bit to make sure I'm all right, and let me make sure that you're all right. Which, in which case, it's not even too much to ask for. It's just something that she's asking, as you know, as a concerned person. He thinks that's too much. He doesn't want to get involved. He doesn't want to do that. And eventually, he thinks that she's overreactive, and so they break up. And what happened is, because he's being too dismissive, in essence, he really wants love, right? But he's scared he's not going to get the support and comfort that he needs. So in order for him not to feel rejected or hurt, he dismisses the relationship that could have been what he needed because of his fear of pain, right? And so that brings us to the next problem, which the fourth one, which we're really not going to go into too much, is called fearful attachment. The fearful attachment combines the secure and the insecure attachment. See, because the fearful person is in between. Like they want it, they don't want it, they're not dismissive, they want it, they don't want it. And so what happens is they enter into a romantic relationship, they do everything for the person to like them, and when the person comes next to them and they give them that attention that they need, they back them off. They tell them to stop. Let's not get involved like that. That's too much for me. I can't handle it. And now the person feel like something is wrong because they're like, this is what you asked for, right? But at the end of the day, it's what he asked for because it's what he needs. But his fear of being involved in a committed relationship stops him from actually entering into that committed relationship that he needs. Now, the problem with the dismissive and the fearful attachment is this. The problem is this. Once they enter into that form of relationship, The walls has been broken and they come incredibly dependent on the person. So what you have now is a person who was strong and mighty like King Kong now is weak like Tom, Cat, and Mouse. And anything you do or say could destroy who they are and what they feel. And that's why you have a lot of murder suicides and people because they can't deal with the fact of abject rejection, right? So now get into it. Are there any questions to this point? Okay, good. So getting to the point is now we're gonna get into the main theme of the topic. So what I'm gonna before I get into the main theme of the topic, let me tell you what I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna tell you how do we create secure attachments? That's the first thing. How do we break the bonds of creating destructive relationships? That's one, right? But I want to go to a clip that I have where a young couple is walking in the house and they see an intruder. Now, the reaction to this is well, let me let you watch it and then let's discuss it and then let's see where we go from here. Sean, you got the clip? We can't see it, Sean.
Let's just go.
All right. I guess start that back over for them. All right. No sound, Sean. No?
Apologies. You said there was no sound?
No, did y'all guys hear it? No? Okay. It's important that you hear it because each step creates the dynamic of the relationship.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay, yeah, we got it. We on, Sean. Thank you.
Hey, let's just go.
Terrence, go see what's upstairs.
Angel, let's just go. We'll call the police.
Oh my goodness, honey, you probably just left the window open.
Why take a chance? Let's just go.
Wait, Terrence.
Angel, wait.
Come on, it's probably nothing.
Angel, run!
All right. So, all right. Thank you, Sean. Now, gentlemen, how do we break down this video? Besides the obvious, how would we break down this video? And based on what I told you, right? You should be looking at this from a whole different perspective, right? So how would you break it down? Aaron, what you think?
I mean, besides the obvious, you saw how the woman took charge. The man basically.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
And then there was the obvious,
well, stick with how the woman took charge, right?
The woman took charge.
So if you think if she would have listened to him, the whole dynamic of that thing would have changed, right?
The whole dynamic would have changed. The whole dynamic definitely would have changed. But she didn't listen. He was forceful in trying to get her to listen. It wasn't like, he didn't he didn't go grab her arm and say, "No, we going." You know what I mean? It wasn't too much.
So he wasn't a confident male. That's what you were saying?
He wasn't confident at all. No.
Okay, all right. Now, let me ask you though. So she looks like more the dominant person in a relationship, right?
Definitely the alpha.
Yes, that's a beautiful word. That's definitely the alpha. Okay, so let me ask you a question. In that perspective, she didn't have enough confidence to go with his decision at all.
No.
Okay, so I think the blame is not just on him; it's on her too.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Aaron. Sean, you see anything in that to add?
Only that's probably the situation every one of us who's in that situation will probably have to go through. Because, like I said, a lot of our wives think that they're the alphas. So I know with me, it would have been more of a confrontation. It would have been more of a get your behind downstairs, let's go call the police. But I can see that happening to everybody, especially in today's society.
All right. Carl, what you say?
She's crazy. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't like, look, he wasn't aggressive enough, but he did say enough to say, he did show concern. He didn't grab her by the arm and pull her down and say, let's go. But he said, no, let's listen. But there was a lack of confidence there, definitely. And she obviously, but then I didn't like her reaction after the fact.
Okay.
Because she was expecting something from him that he didn't have.
Okay.
She got upset because she felt that.
Can I say something though? Let me tell you. So a person that not everybody is confrontational, and not everybody. Right. Okay, so there's a thing called a fear factor, and it happens to everybody. No matter how tough you are, there are certain situations where you get cold feet the first time you encounter something that you're not prepared to try. That's why we have things where we have in training, we call it muscle memory. We repeatedly do something over and over. So when it happens, even if our minds don't interact like how it's supposed to, but because we do it so much, we just move our hands without actually thinking. That's what muscle memory is, right? Unfortunately, for a person who's a civilian who never trained in these situations, they react with their mind rather than acting because they have no training in whatsoever. Now, with that being said, there's certain situations that you're going to enter into that you're not accustomed to, that you're going to find yourself, and the first moment is just, but after he came back, he did run back upstairs, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't his intention to leave it, but his mind. So isn't there times when you have where your emotions take over your response rather than what you want to do, and to find it conscious? And that's why I brought up the word cognitive dissonance, because you may have wanted to actually do something, but your emotions made you react a certain way, and it is totally incongruent of how you feel. Okay, now let's take the whole incident together. Now, you finished, Carl? I'm sorry, you finished?
Yeah, I'm finished. No, I just thought her reaction was, she seemed like she was upset because he didn't come out, didn't do what she wanted, or felt she wasn't protected. But he did make an effort to a certain extent, but she didn't listen.
Okay, so now, in order for you to be the leader of your house or the leader of your thing, there has to be an understanding where, if a person makes a personal assessment of a situation, we both have to have the confidence, especially when there's danger, for you to listen to me, right? Or for you to listen to a person that you trust. There was an aspect of where she actually didn't trust his perspective in life. That's what that says. All right, I'm gonna tell you I could tell you the dynamic of that relationship from the way she reacted. The way she reacted in that thing, she didn't trust his response in an emergency situation. At no moment did she give credence to the advice that he said. If you notice, everything she said, no, I'm doing this. No, I'm doing that. And so that just doesn't happen. You understand what I'm saying? That's a repetitive behavior that goes on to the relationship. So he is being ignored in the relationship from the beginning, if that makes sense, right? Next thing that you could look from that relationship, and you could see that it doesn't matter what, she has a mind of her own. In today's society, right? Remember, I talked about the dismissive behavior. A lot of women are what they call self-relevant, self-independent, and they make their own decisions. They rely on their own instinct. In a marriage, you have to rely on both of your instincts, right? So that's why I said a relationship is just not about love. It's about a trust and understanding. If you don't have that trust and understanding and communication in that relationship, things like that do happen. She didn't have to. Okay, and so let me ask you something. If you love someone, will you put them in a predicament where they would be in danger? Okay, now she know by her going upstairs, that guy could have had a gun and he could have shot her. It didn't have to end up like that. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, she put her and him in danger by her insensitivity. Let's put it that way. Her insensitivity. Okay, so now, judging from what I just said, would you still consider him being a coward? You can't, because I don't think it was because he wouldn't defend her. It's just a mere fact. You put him in a position that he felt very compromised, and because he's not that kind of person, he didn't know how to react. You see, when you put things in perspective, it changes the whole idea aspect of what you're looking at. It's not so much about having the courage to do something. It's about you respecting our decision. Now, if they would have went outside and called the cops, that guy would have been caught and they would have been saving everything, and they would have been in a safer position. You understand? Suppose now there have been situations where that there is an assailant in there and the man shoots the husband and rapes the wife. What? Even if he was brave, he would have got the first bullet. And what happened then? You gonna call him a hero? The whole purpose of you being in a relationship is for both of y'all to protect each other. You get it? So I didn't think that was so obvious. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't think that she gave him the opportunity to be who he was. So now look at it. Now look at it. Because she doesn't give him the opportunity to be what he's supposed to be, he is definitely in a position where he's unsure of himself. That's why he didn't grab her, Aaron, to see. He didn't grab her because she always put him in a position where he feels uncomfortable. He does everything he says, she probably denies it, does her own thing. And now he's in a state of confusion. Do I grab her? Do I this? Because anything that you do repetitively, you will do in an instant when things happen like that. So because he is not in a position where he's constantly in the leadership position or taking charge, he felt uncomfortable in a moment where there was a moment of emergency and he couldn't react the way he was supposed to. So that takes away the coward aspect. It takes away that he's out of his place aspect. It takes away that she is the alpha in the relationship. Like you said, she is the alpha. And so and then you can't have it both ways. If you want to be the alpha and you want to take charge, you can't expect me to do what an alpha does if you're in the alpha position. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Carl.
And and sometimes if you think about it, even today, women will do that. I'll put him in this situation. Let me see if he loves me. Will he defend me?
Yes. So what do you think about that?
That's not respecting him or protecting him.
No, but okay, so here
you see the situation where you see a chick, she'll put him she's talking to another dude and she got them both going at each other. Let me see what you're gonna do.
That happens a lot. But right. let me ask you a question. So there's a meme going around that says that men are hunters, and if he loves you, he would know exactly what to do to get you. Like I guess it goes something like that. Do you agree with that, meme?
No.
All right. I don't think, first of all, even in the hunter-gathering situation, all the men wasn't hunters to begin with, right? And hunters was a thing that was taught to young boys how to be hunters from when they were small to now. We have no mentoring of young men today. So the things that was that I remember in those times, men were very aggressive. Women didn't even have a choice, right? So I think it's a very contradictory statement, because at the end of the day, if you want to go back to the fact where you see men that act like that, then the behaviors that come with that, you also have to accept. Does that make sense? Right? Women didn't have choice in those times. Men would go into the village and grab them as their wife, and that was it.
Yeah, go ahead, babe.
You understand? So that's where we at. So again, a lot of times women need to feel protected. They need to feel loved, right? So they put men in positions where they want to see if you will be the protector that they need. A lot of these situations are very dangerous. Now, how do you feel? Is this worth a lot of times? Have you done this, or how did you feel? Like, Sean, have you been in that situation? Have you done it? How did you feel after you did it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Did you feel like King Kong, or did you feel like it's worthy of love, or do you feel like looking on today, like, was it really worth it? Or, you know, how would you do? Like, if I was your son and I came and asked you, I was in a position like that, what would you tell me?
I don't know. That's a deep question, because if I feel that she's putting me in that position, I would have a problem with her, and we would discuss that immediately. Now, if I was put in a position inadvertently where somebody disrespected her in front of me, that in those instances, yes, I've stepped up and said, "Listen, you're gonna have a problem if you do that again." Like, she can tell you, that happened early in our relationship. I was at a basketball court playing basketball, and her and her friends were standing there. And once somebody called her a bitch, and I stopped the whole court game and came over and said, "You said it again, I'm gonna snatch the life out of you." And everybody's like, "Ooh." He put his down. He tried to say, "Well, she said so." I said, "I don't care what she says. You don't talk to her like that." So in that instance, yeah, I did step in and kind of went overboard. But that was an instance where she didn't put me in that position. The guy was disrespectful.
Okay.
So in that situation, yes. But if it's a situation where I see she's trying to test my loyalty, like in the what was that movie with the 5 Heartbeats, when the guy was like, "Every night we come out here, I gotta prove my love."
My love? Yeah.
He threw his bottle down and chasing after him. That's something totally different. That one, you can stay with him. I'm not doing that. I'm not fighting you over no man. So, like I said, it depends on the situation where you got to step up.
So you saying you was always mature to make a decision like that?
Nah, if I was young, I would look at everything as a disrespectful moment. But like I said, I think honestly what made me change was seeing my friend have that situation where the girl put him in a position to have to fight for her. And it didn't have to happen. And the guns was drawn and things like that. And I'm like, this whole thing could have been avoided if you didn't provoke the other guy to try to see if he defends you. And so, and like I said, and these two guys, they were friendly, but she provoked the other guy. My boyfriend will whip you, blah, 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 blah. I was like, wait a minute. And the next you know, they started going back and forth, and then guns got pulled out and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, chill now, let's calm down, blah, blah, blah. But I seen how something she said provoked the other guy to confront him. Because of course, each of them are gonna have their pride. We're all from Brooklyn, so you know we're gonna have our Brooklyn macho-ness. And so, but like I said, if she didn't go there, this wouldn't have happened. It's like I said, I know, like I said, it was at that point, like, man, we all could have got shot up and stuff like that because of her ignorance. So, like I said, that's what helped me to mature and say, you know what? There's some things you can't fight for. There's some things you just walk away.
Okay. All right. Aaron, you want to say something?
Nah, I don't really have much to add to that. I mean, like Sean, I haven't been personally in that situation, but I've heard of those situations.
Yeah.
I kind of don't really put myself in those situations. And like I don't. I mean, I'm calm, cool, collected for the most part. That's how I usually am. but I really don't need anybody to put a battery in my back to turn up if I had to. So it's like
I got you, bro.
You know.
I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah, so
I like that. I like that. I don't need anybody to put a battery in my back. There you go. No, you see what it is I've seen these things turn into from going to fight, from people going to jail, somebody got shot. Now the guys on Rikers Island fighting a case, and then she is with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I seen it happen like a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? And you know, that King Kong scenario just doesn't work when you go into the justice system and you have to fight a case. And then even when you come out, now you got a record on, you can't even really get a certain type of jobs anymore. And now, you know what I'm saying? And is it worth it, especially if you're not even with the person that you did that for? You know? Carl, you got something to say?
It's sad to say this, but it happens with adults. It shouldn't happen with adults. I can see that happening more with teenagers, young people, but there are adults that still do that. I'm like, y'all don't think you're not mature enough to think in that, you know, like, is this worth it? Dying for?
Yeah.
No.
You know, and like I said, it happens all the time. I mean, at the end of the day, I've seen where, you know, when you go to these parties, these girls wear these, views that you're looking at, and I guess as a man, you just looking, and the boyfriend go, "What you looking at?" You know what I'm saying? And it's just a reaction of, I guess, a natural. And you know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, it turns into a fight between the two, and one just looking at one. And you know, I seen where the boyfriend stepped up, and the guy that he was talking to wasn't no punk. And the next thing you know, he had a lot of dudes with him. And now the boyfriend is backing up, and she's trying to defend him against the person he was trying to bully. It sometimes it reverses. It doesn't always end up like, you know what I'm saying? So it is a tragic situation. We have another clip that I want to show about a gentleman trying to talk to his wife, and he had an interesting perspective. I want to look at that because this ties into what we've been talking about now. Sean, you got that clip with the guy? Can you show it for them, please?
As a Black man and being able to voice my feelings towards my fiance is something that is needed. It's not always easy to do, to be honest, as a Black man, because it's a fine line. Sometimes you wanna say certain things, but you don't want to say it to where it affects her a certain way, and you also don't want to say it to a point where she's looking at you like you're kind of weak.
All right. Thank you, Sean. So just a shout out to High Risk Births, and that documentary came from the high mortality births in Black women and how they feel with it, and a lot of men speaking out about it. But what were your thoughts about what this young man just said about him trying to speak to his spouse? You know, he said, I mean, okay, so let's establish, right? Huh?
No, he said he didn't want to feel weak, but everyone has weaknesses in some area. And I think that's what the problem is. People go into relationships with these unrealistic expectations, but everybody's weak somewhere. And then it's that whole thing that you said, how men are socialized, and we're supposed to be all the strength all the time. But there's some areas where people are just weak.
Okay, so we are socialized into being that figure that holds no emotion, right, and is ready to respond to any trouble that happens, but yet still you have to watch what you say to the wife because you don't want to hurt her feelings. So isn't that a contradiction?
Right. Cognitive dissonance. Right.
Cognitive dissonance, right. And that's why I brought that word up today. So because that's something that goes against the belief about who we are and what we're supposed to be, right? how you want me to be something if you're not letting me be that, because it comes with a total package and it comes with a certain type of behavior. So if that's what you want me to be, then it comes with certain behaviors. But today we know that we don't live in a head of household situation. And I don't know if you could agree or disagree with me, but I believe marriage is more corporate now than it is head of household. And it's because the dynamics have changed. And what was true about 20 years ago is not true today. And a lot of women today are more aggressive than they were back then. I don't know if y'all experienced that, but there's a lot more women that take charge. And then the conflict comes in when you really don't want to do that, or you really don't want to, you know what I'm saying? And you're telling them no, but they're telling you yes. And you tell them I'm not going, but they already make the next week they make arrangements for you to go. And you just go to carry along, and it doesn't turn out pleasant because your heart wasn't really in it. And then they get upset, right? These are dominant things that happens in relationships. How do you deal? So now the whole aspect of relationships has changed because now we have an aggressive wife who wants you to be aggressive, but speak a certain way when you get to them. How do you deal with things like that? Hey, how you doing, Mr. G? How you feeling today? God bless you.
God bless you too, Tone. Appreciate
All right. You understand what's going on in our thing? Did you see the clip, or you know what I'm saying? You want me to explain?
Yeah, just explain real quick. I missed the clip. Sorry.
I know, no problem. That's beautiful, bro. So here, what's going on? We discussing the theme today is what changes a relationship, the dynamics that changes a relationship, right? And I went over different aspects of it. I can't go over everything now because we kind of short of time. But what happened is we had a male who said that he has a wife who wants him to be dominant, who, you know, men are taught at a young age not to show emotion and to speak firmly. But when he gets to his wife at certain things, he doesn't want to say things that offend her because he knows that it will be an argument. And what happens is you have more, you expect me to be a dominant person, but you want me to act like a beta when I speak to you, basically. How does it work? How does the two aspect work? You're in a confused relationship. So some people, right, can't mix the two. If you want me to be dominant, I got to be dominant all the way. If you want me to be submissive and loving, I'm that all the way, or I'm just not what you call in it with you, like how you want me to be. I'll let you take charge of whatever the case might be. But as you know, the principal rule is if a girl asks you your decision on anything, she expects you to give a decision, not say how you feel about it. So a lot of mistake men make, because we have to understand how females think, right? So let me just explain this part to you so you could get it. Let's say that we're driving, we're taking a trip to New York, and we're driving. I'm hungry. I'm stopping at McDonald's to eat. I'm not asking you if you're hungry or what. I'm stopping at McDonald's and I'm buying you something to eat. Now, a female, she's going to say, babe, are you hungry? And you're going to tell her no, and you're going to keep driving. But what she actually saying is she wants to stop at McDonald's and get something to eat. But because you didn't realize the cue of what she was saying, there's an argument because now she thinks that you're not listening to her and you're insensitive to her feelings. So now she brings up something that you didn't do because you didn't do this. And it creates an argument and you don't even understand why you're in the argument. But because you didn't catch the cue. Now you get what I say? You have something to add to that, or you just want to, you know?
I mean, yeah, you said a lot, and I feel like that happens a lot in a multitude of different types of relationships where there's these like, you know, unspoken rules, so to speak, where, you know, like you said, the accuser is a good word. Like, it's just like something happens and, you know, someone says something, but they really mean something else. And so what I'm learning like just over time is, I know for me, and again, I'm just speaking personally. I know for me, like I miss those stuff all the time. Like I'm not good at getting cues. Like I need like a little bit more information, more direction. Like I'm not a mind reader. And I also make the same mistakes of also thinking that the other person may know what I'm thinking about, right? And so what I've just been learning to do is to like just get better at communication, to basically be able to say like how I feel, what makes me feel this way, like, you know, just be more explicit, because I just realized there's so much things in relationships that go unsaid. People will be around each other for years, and you would just swear like you know this person upside down because of the time that you've been together. But the reality is that there's a lot of like subconscious stuff going. There's a lot of cues. There's a lot of things being, you know, not said, right, or done a certain way that you don't always pick up on. So I just realized like what works for, like, again, what works for me, which I think is important, is that, you know, that it like things are just more explicit. Like we say exactly how we feel, what we mean. And then that way, at least going forward, I don't have to make like assumptions, right? Because that's good, because I also realize is that making assumptions, a lot of times you're just totally off base, and that's where things go wrong, right? Because there's just like assumptions being made. There's a misunderstanding. You thought they meant this, but they really meant that, and I just can't play that game. I'm not good at that game. Some people are good at it. Some people can pick up on cues and get the drift. I'm just not good at that. And so what I just realized for me, like I have to be clear in my communication. I got to encourage the other person to be clear in their communication, and that's how we can coexist. Otherwise, we're just going to keep playing this guessing game, and we're going to hurt each other in the process.
Right. That's well said. Well said. Well said, bro. Thank you for that input. Well said.
Anytime.
Unfortunately, though, there's a lot of our sisters, a lot of people who feel that if you don't catch the cues, you don't really love them because you're not paying attention to their language. And that's just the reality of it. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Especially for a female, if she changed the color of her hair and you didn't notice all day, that's a problem, man. You understand what I'm saying? If they buy something new and they put it on and they never wore it before, and they walking in front of you and they walking back and you don't catch it, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was in East New York and I was messing with this girl, and so what she would do, and I'm telling you, this is the literal truth. I mean, people that live on my block know who she is, so that's why I'm not trying to say the name or everything. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in a relationship with this girl. So she was the type of girl where, like, she dating, she likes you, she'll defend you. She was a sweetheart. She'll buy you anything, but she believed that, you know, if you're not all over her, you don't love her. And that's not all over her in a sense, but like you're not hitting, you're not correcting her. So she'll do things to upset you. And if you don't say anything, she feels you don't care. Right? So I'm gonna give you a true story. I had just moved to East New York. This is a true story. I just moved to East New York, and me and this girl used to go out. So I went out to the movies with her to Manhattan. So we're on the A train. I'm from Flatbush, so I'm not used to the East New York Bed-Stuy thing. I'm not used to that stuff, right? So no offense to anybody, but I always stay. So A train was like, I used to hate to ride the A train. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna lie to you. That was the worst train to ride for me. You know what I mean? So she gets on the train and I'm sitting down and we're not speaking. And I noticed the guy, like, he's moving his hand. And then I look back and then she turned straight. So then I realized that the guy is flirting with her. So it's two of them with a big boom box and it's only me. And I'm not from Bed-Stuy. I'm not from East New York, right? So I'm in a dilemma because if I don't say nothing, I know she's going to go back and tell everybody I'm soft. You understand what I'm saying? And if I do say something, I could get my behind terribly beat by these two dudes. You understand what I'm saying? So I got up, right? And I said, I did an in that. I know I did it, you know, like the movies I watched the guy. I know you ain't looking at me. I know. I just start screaming. And I knew once I started, and I knew from the time when I jumped up and they didn't do nothing, I knew they wasn't going to do nothing, right? So I just started playing it. I said, no, you get off the train. It wasn't even a stop, but I said, get off the train right now, here. Get off the train, and I'm looking around, I'm playing it, right? It was all the act, though. It was all the act. Trust me, it was all the act. I was just hoping that they didn't get up. You understand what I'm saying? Then I said, nah, you don't speak to me no more. I said, what movie you watch? I said, what movie you want to watch? That's not what we watching. I said, we watch something I like. Boom, and I just changed it around. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, though, that was a scary experience. I just was acting. If they had ever took me up on what was going on, I probably wouldn't even be speaking to you today. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying these are the things that you just encounter with it, and you know, whatever the case might be. But it's about to end. I want to go over a clip that a female, she was talking about the black male's perspective, their black fathers, and how we going on. And I think this just ties into all what we spoke today. And Sean, if you could show that last clip for us, and we could talk about that and close up with closing thoughts, what everybody had to say and how they feel about what we talked about today. Could you do that for me, please?
Man up with dads, and especially when we're looking at the black male community, right? It's kind of like just suck it up, pray on it.
When it comes to the role of the black father, I think there's the historical aspect of black fathers, one, being removed from the home through slavery, through the war on drugs in the 80s, the criminalization of black men when it comes to just day-to-day life, honestly.
I had a lot of males in my family who did not live up to that kind of standard that I had set in my mind, and I set it at a very young age as far as just fatherhood and like being a husband. So I think at a very early age in my head, I had established that I wanted to be a great husband and father, just to be opposite to what I witnessed.
When you have a father who is present and you leave.
All right. Thank you, Sean. All right. So what you see there is a dynamic. Women are making excuses for men in relationships, and they're saying because of the systemic breakdown of slavery, the war on drugs, that they're not, essentially she's saying that they're not the fathers who they're supposed to be. And then the young man comes on and says, I've seen fathers who have done things what they're not supposed to do and how they reacted, and I want to make a difference. Now, my question is to that young man, how do you want to make a difference, and how do you want to be different just by doing everything opposite what those guys did, or actually making an effective difference, right? So now my thing is, do you agree with what those ladies were saying, or somehow are we changing the narrative? Because like I said before, 50% of the marriages in the US is going to fail according to Green State University statistics. And Black women have more divorce rate than marriage. So at the end of the day, what are we doing wrong? How are we looking at it? Are we entering into the relationships wrong? What are we supposed to do? How do men frame their work? And how do you actually subscribe to getting a person who is conducive to you building your future? Or you just do like, when you guys got married, for you married men that's here, when you guys got married, was it just a thing that you was in love and you got married without seeing a future? Or when you got married, did you saw a perspective of where you're supposed to be? Let's start with Sean. Sean, when you got married, right? When you got married at a young age, did you have a plan? Like, did you see yourself in a house and all these things now? Or is that something that just came along at time and things just worked out in your behalf?
That's a great question for me, because honestly, I did not want a house, because I didn't want the responsibility of having mow the lawn, fix the roof, all that came with a house. But like I said, the house was just basically passed down to us. And like I said, that I fell into that role. So obviously when I was getting married and stuff like that, owning a home and all that wasn't even in my view. Like I said, but what was in my view was, is this woman confident enough, and will this woman, like I said, it goes back to what we started out with. Will she have my back? Will she stand up? Like I said, 50 Cent has the song 21 Questions. If I'm down and out, you're gonna be there. And that's what it falls down to. Like I said, she showed me that when times was rough, she didn't push me to the side. She said, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna build together. We're gonna come up together. And like I said, she had the opportunity to go out and go with somebody else, stuff like that. But like I said, she seen the potential in me, and I seen the potential in her. And so I knew that we can build together because I knew that she was sacrificed for me and I was sacrificed for her. And that's where it boiled down to. It wasn't really like, okay, well, I'm gonna need this in the future and all that. It was more of what will she bring to the table to help me become a better man, a better father, and a better husband. And that's like I said, and I had to understand I had to do the same thing for her.
All right, so let me ask you one more question. Sorry, champ. I gotta ask you one more question, right? With the knowledge that you have today, right? Would you be way different than you are right now? I mean, as far as building and creating generational wealth and all of that stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be different, but I don't think it would have changed my decision to marry.
No. I'm not talking about that. So what I'm saying is, when we go into a marriage, right? The male.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was been things that we would set up like for.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You would set up different things.
Definitely. I mean, I wish the knowledge I had today, I had it 20 years ago, because I know I'd be way different financially.
All right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All right, good. That's what I was trying to ask.
I think that's what most of us here, we all could say that what we know today is not what we knew when we got married. We would have did things a little different financial wise.
All right, Carl, what you say?
Because we didn't know each other when we got married. But it was the marriage in the beginning was more like, I really got to get to know you. Really got to even.
So I mean, look at this, right? When you went in, right, did you have an idea where you were supposed to be like in 20 years?
I wasn't thinking that far ahead, not at that time, no. I knew in my mind what I wanted. I knew in my mind, house and all of those things, those things. I thought about all those things. But I'm talking about but because of all that was, I guess in the beginning, it was just so much to get to know her and get to know each other and help each other, I guess, to change, because when you're around different people, they help you to change. I think that to me, that was most important at that time. Now, thinking differently, I do think more of the future and generational wealth and all of that now. But I'm saying it's always in the back of your mind, but it was so many other things involved that had to get straightened out first.
So with the knowledge that you have now, you would have created stuff that would have been different, that would have made your life different today?
Yeah. It would have been different, yeah.
All right. Okay, so I guess the process that you went through, right? Looking at it, hindsight, if we had a mentor or somebody there, things would have been a whole lot different as far as
right.
Right.
And you talked about that even when it came to like all the information about school and all of that. If you had known certain things when we were younger, we would have made different choices.
Yeah. I mean, I went through this journey with Sean. Sean is a great person. Let me tell you, me and Sean went through this journey of this financial thing. And you know what I'm saying? What I learned with him, and I thank him. I always thank the brother for his support, man, because I came a long way with doing what we do. And I would have set myself financially different, altogether. I would have never wasted my money buying all those clothes and stuff like that. It was so ridiculous. I brought stupid, like I spend a ridiculous, I'm not even rich. Why would I buy a $400 sneakers? Why would I buy $500? To prove what to who? Today, I don't even have them. You understand what I'm saying? I don't even have a picture of them. You know what I'm saying? So and look at this, right? The people who I'm trying to impress are not here with me today, right? The people that I'm trying to impress didn't even help me pay a bill. You know what I'm saying? All the things spent on me. So I realized that the things that I hold value to wasn't even really valuable. And that's, and this is the perspective that, especially we want to bring to the youth. What you looking at today that is important to you today has no value in the future for tomorrow. Nothing. I would have rather took my money
for some houses,
$1,000, 1,000 shares worth of McDonald's, where I don't have to work today, than having to eat at McDonald's every day, even using the dollar menu. I would have been better off that way. Yes.
You see, and that's what I'm saying. That's what speaks to my mentality then. I didn't even realize the asset a house is, that it accrues value. So if I acquire the house today, it'll be worth, now 20 years later, it'll be worth 2/3 greater than what it was. If I bought it for $200,000, it'll be worth $600,000 now. So you see, that just shows you how immature my thinking was back then financially. Like, a house is not just a place to live, but it is an investment, and it accrues in value. So, like I said, that just speaks to what you're saying.
Absolutely, bro. There was a program when I was living in Maryland while I was in the military where it was helping you buy new housing at $135,000. I wanted to stay in the apartment because the Army was paying my rent, and I got to keep all my money to party, not to save, to party. You know what I'm saying? So today, that house is probably worth like $400,000 or $500,000 at the $100,000 they were selling it at, and I could afford the rent, but I just wanted to keep the money to hang out. So now I have nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as that goes. And that's what I'm talking about, like the investments. I mean, anything you want to add, G?
I mean, y'all hitting it on the head.
Okay. I know you the finance man. I know you the finance major here, and you know what I'm saying. So I know generational wealth is your thing. That's what I really was looking for you to say. Like the aspect. Did you set up yourself like that when you? Because I know you took it in school, so you know what I mean. That was nothing to you. Like you knew.
Yeah. So I have a finance background, so that was something that was like on the forefront of my mind, right? So having that background, like that was something that was already top of mind. So I would say that, not that I was perfect in that regard, but it was just like I had certain information that can help me, make certain choices that set me up to be okay financially, especially first starting out. Not to say that it was easy or anything like that, but it was I'm more or less, just had information to help me have the right perspective. Now,
I'm sure you was in that crowd with the millions of dollars.
Yeah, I definitely made a lot of mistakes, being younger. So like everything that you talk about, I could relate to 100%.
Oh, okay.
And so, like I said, I forgot Sean's friend's name, but Coach, from the last session, I mean, honestly, I could copy and paste what he said. Like, I think Coach Carter. That's the type of information, Coach Carter, like whatever he's like, I wish I could just copy and paste that right now, because he said it beautifully. And really what it was really just having a checklist for yourself. Like, just thinking about all the different aspects of your life and really investigating it to make sure that you know what I mean, in a certain standing, that you got your basics in order. And like your mom says it perfectly, before you get a wife, get a life. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, like, that's just so important for anybody trying to be married, enter in serious relationships. You have to make sure that you have your situation situated, because once you're combined with someone, it's only going to complicate things. So you need to have just, again, I'm not talking about, being a millionaire and have all this money in the bank and have a house. You can get towards that. You can get towards having emotional intelligence, like, you know what I'm saying, like building up your spiritual life. Like, there's so many different parts of your life that has to be in order. I believe going into marriage, going into a relationship like that, a financial is obviously a big one. That's a huge one, obviously. But I think there's also a lot of, I think
most marriages end because of finance. Like, there's been marriages.
Finance plays a big part.
Finance
It plays a big
That's
part.
why I'm saying
And again,
love is only a small part.
Yeah.
Finance plays a big part.
Finance is a big part. I would say I was fortunate enough that because of my background, because of my education, because of my parents, like there was like I was very fortunate in that aspect where I got that information. So
yeah,
that was helpful for me.
I could dig it. Yo, I one time I didn't even know what an annuity was, bro. You know what I'm saying? Simple word like that. I didn't know what an annuity. I'm grown and I didn't know and I didn't know that you could invest in an annuity so that when you get older, you get more money towards your retirement fund. Like, you know what I'm saying? And there's programs that's in there. And I didn't know it was insurance companies that does it. Yeah. All this was new to me. I'm reading it and I had to read it 5 times to understand the concept. You know what I'm saying? So it's like your knowledge like that is real invaluable because I wasted a lot of my time spending on frivolous stuff instead of investing. Yes, sir.
And the sad part about that is that knowledge isn't taught to us from our parents, unfortunately, for most of us.
No.
Like I see your parents, but 90% of us, our parents don't have that mindset. So it's sad, but I guess this is why we need these kind of conversations to help other young men, to help to get them prepared. Like Kamal said, what Chris said, it's the checklist. These are different things that you need to have before you get married. These are concepts you need to understand before you get married. And like I said, unfortunately, and I think that's why most marriages don't last. It's like these fundamental concepts of having financial security isn't addressed.
Financial security is everything.
I think eventually we should have one of the financial things on there.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we had a thing where we was gonna do. Well, we're gonna talk about that too. We got, I mean, Sean and me, you know, we've been doing it. We've been hacking at this for 4 years, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't.
So what happens to the information, man?
No, I mean,
no, I'm looking up to you.
No. So here what happened, and that's a good point. It's not that nobody holding the information. As you see, we bringing it out. It's just that it took time for me to understand the concepts. It's new. It's not something that I'm accustomed to, bro. So I'm not gonna tell you nothing that I don't know. Right. Go ahead, Sean.
Also, like you said, it took time to develop. I'm telling you guys now that I just got an app authorized by Apple to teach financial concepts to children. So it's basically an app that you can download from the Apple Store that teaches them how to, like I said, you can use them to pay, what's that called? When they do a job, you pay them in coins. And according to how many coins they get, you can change the dollar value that they can cash out on the coins. But they can also invest the coins. And as they invest the coins, they make money. It's going to be on you to pay out, or you can put it towards chores and things like that. So like I said,
why don't you send everybody that link, Sean, so everybody.
As soon as we get, I have to talk with my team, and then we're gonna finalize how we want to promote it and things like that. But it just got authorized. It took us 2 years, 2.5 years to get to this point. But it just got authorized to be put on the Apple Store. But like I said, these are things, like Tony said, that we've been working on for years. And like I said, I had to learn from the ground, because Tony could tell you I knew nothing. But I thank God that we sat down and we kept going over, we read, we did the research. And at the end of the day, I realized that it's going to take us, our generation, to change the narrative. It's not easy. We can all sit here and say, oh, we wasn't taught financial. But at the same time, it's going to be our responsibility. We're the most educated generation as far as Black people. This generation, we are probably the most educated compared to our parents and our grandparents. We've had the most resources, the most knowledge available. It's going to be on us to change the narrative. And that's what me and my friends did. It's like, we had to come to a point where, listen, what are we going to do to change our generation, to change the narrative? And this is what we came up with. This is our best thing that we can put out there. So like I said, like Tony Carl said, it's coming. We've been working on this for a while. Like I said, I'm an IT guy, so this is the only way I see that I can put my footprint, my thumbprint out there. It's through apps and things like that to help change the narrative. And we're going to market it as Black fathers. We're going to market it as Black fathers. This is what we're going to give to our children, to give them a start, a legitimate start on finance, how money works. How do you save money? And how does it transfer from yen to the euro to the English dollar? So this is what we all, like I said, it starts with us. We can't just keep talking, but we have to actually start. So hopefully, like I said, this will be my contribution and a demonstration of like what Gamal just said. We gotta, like Carl just said, we have to get it out there. We have to share the information. And hopefully, like I said, through this medium, this is what we're doing. We're sharing the knowledge. Like Tony, it's a beautiful thing that he decided to share the knowledge. Let's start changing. Because like I said, we have the knowledge, we have the information, we have to share the information.
Yeah. I mean, at one time, me and Sean was doing workshops at stores, teach them stocks and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've been on the trail for a while doing it. I'm saying, you know, and like I said, to gain the experience. So, you know, it is what it is. But okay, let's go. Omar, I see you join us. Do you have anything to say as a future prospect for getting married? How you see it, what these men would say? And you know, no, I mean, because that's what it is. Do you have intentions of getting married?
I don't think I got what it takes, chap.
No, stop that. First of all, no. We ain't gonna accept that. Change the narrative, bro. You sitting with us, you can't say you don't have what it takes. You know what I'm saying? And especially, you know, a person that been through all the things that you've been through, I think you more than got what it takes. You know what I'm saying? Right. I think you underestimating your potentials. Your potentials are very high, probably higher than a lot of you, because you got persistence and resistance to a lot of things. So now,
right, you heard what you just said right there? That's it right there. Persistence and resistance to a lot of things. And in a relationship, there is no space for that. That's what I don't know how y'all do it. I told my brother this the other day. I was just realizing, I'm like, I would never say that under, like, in terms of will, like willingness or willpower to do something. But in a relationship, you're compromising in such a way that like it's unheard of to me. It like as a warm-blooded male, like in everything that means, like what you like in terms of like the fire that I have inside myself as a male, like you're totally emasculated in the 2022.
No, it's not
in 2022. We're talking about 2022 relationship, okay. Not what it was or what it could be or what it should be. But
boy.
But in one now, oh my God.
So your perception that marriage now is total emasculation of who a male is supposed to be?
Yo, even in a regular relationship, because I'm not even in a marriage. Even in a regular relationship. And I thought this before I got in one. I was just like, there's no way. Because meanwhile, everybody look at me like, oh, you girl crazy. I just wanted the girls to like me. But I never wanted to actually have a girl. I never thought like that. Because I always thought, yo, that takes a lot. That takes a lot. And that takes a lot out of the man.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Yeah. When you went through your situation when you was incarcerated, right?
Right.
You had to compromise a lot, right? You didn't have the freedom to do what you want to do.
Right.
But you made it work, right?
Involuntarily.
But you still made it work. You still made it work. Right?
I could choose not to now. Yeah, people, I'm seeing people, I'm like, yo, how are y'all choosing this?
Okay, look at this, right? You went in there on an involuntary basis, but you saw how to survive. Right. You survive. Okay, let me tell you something. You survive a lot of things that people kill themselves for after they leave. You survive, you can smile now. So right. You can't say that even though it's involuntary, you still did it.
Yeah.
All right. So that means that if you went through that hard environment and did that, you definitely could deal with an environment that's voluntary.
Yeah, I can do it. I know.
All right. So now
I know I could do it. Now and what I've now realized though, I'd be less. I don't want to say less of a man because I'm not saying that because I'm not less of a man by being in a a husband or being a father.
It's more of a man. You're actually being more of a man.
You're being more
of a man because of that. Because at the end of the time, you're establishing yourself at a higher level. And then you're realizing that you could be this, but you're actually allowing them for your soul. You're allowing other people to grow. That's the aspect, right? If I'm everything and you're with me and I never let you do anything, you can't grow. But if I allow you to walk into the steps of where I am so that you can get the same experience I have, so that you could go through the process, so that you could grow and gain your own experience, I'm allowing you to become your own person, right?
Yes, continue. But and the problem, and not the problem, but the issue I have with that is that, remember, my accomplishments are limited. I have yet to accomplish that which I aspire.
But that's perspectives. Again, that's perspectives.
Yeah.
You have a life experience that's far above anybody else's in certain things.
Right.
And even though you didn't get a degree for it, you got a life degree.
Right.
Make sense?
Makes sense, but I'm saying, but now that I wish to aspire to gain,
so now you're going in. So now you're going in another journey. You're going in another journey.
The sacrifice that she needs, that a woman needs, or even that kids need. They would need you to make a sacrifice where I have to put myself back in order for you to grow, or for you to accept.
That's life. In order for you to be who you be, somebody had to let you grow. In order for you, right?
I don't know how my parents did that. They would actually be better off. They would actually be better off. As harsh as this is to say out loud, but if we're being like just totally blunt, like they'd be better off without me.
No.
Let me say something.
Sean, let Sean say something.
We're talking about. Go ahead.
I understand what Omar's saying. I think he's trying to talk on the side of security, as far as providing financially, providing emotionally. Does he have the space and the capacity to do that?
Yes.
But I'm gonna tell you, Omar, that's the same fear I had. Because let me just give you a quick story. When Alina was born, I didn't tell my parents Alina was born till the day she was born. I called my parents and told them, "Oh, guess what, Mom? You're a grandmother." My mother was like, "What? Right now?" Why? Because it was fear. It was fear that I wasn't going to be able to provide for my child. I was fear what everybody was going to think. But at the end of the day, I can tell you, after 20 years, and my daughter's coming home right now from working at the hospital, and two of my sons graduated from college. My life and my maturity and everything was much improved than if I would have stayed single. I can tell you that. Because what this does, it builds a confidence in you. When you see God provide, when you see you providing for your wife, you see you providing for your children, it brings a confidence with it. It brings a sense of completeness with it. And like I said, all us fathers here can say that. They know that when they come home and to see your child say, "Daddy's home," and they run into your arms, there's no equal to that. There's no equal to when you see your wife say, "Oh, son, honey, where you home? I'm glad you're home." My wife always calls us and "Where's your father? Where's your father?"
Hold on, wait. Before you convince me of that, because those are good. I actually believe all of those things you just said. I believe, and those are the pros. Those are the pros, and I believe in those pros, and I believe that, and I believe in that. I also believe that I know what I've done, and I understand, and I understand what I've done to my parents.
Right. So let me ask you a question. You don't believe that there's redemption because you did that, right? And I'm sure that you're in a better place today, right? I'm sure that you can give a lot of guidance to young people who went in that direction. Everybody doesn't have the same calling. Everybody doesn't have the same. I could never say or did the things that you did or think, because I never experienced it. But if you talk about it from your perspective and you can tell them how to change that perspective, you would have done a lot to save a life.
And you can't say, and you can't blame or see what you did to your parents and say, "Though, I don't want that to happen to me." Because honestly, at the end of the day, you've seen that in all perspectives. You've seen your children do wrong in a poor households, and you've seen with the richest households with every resource.
Do you think there's some people that shouldn't have children? Do you think there's people that shouldn't be married or shouldn't have children? Do you think there are people like that?
There's definitely people like that.
I think there's some people who are not ready for marriage. They're mine.
Do you think that? Because I know I grew up, because I remember I went in the institute 25 years ago, next month, February 4th, 1997. That was the first time I ever went away. And then I never stopped going away until I was 24 years old. So I went I didn't graduate anything from kindergarten, graduated kindergarten, then didn't graduate again until Kingsborough.
Right.
So I've seen like all of the worst kind of guys, and I from very small, and I seen their parents, and when they were 24 and 23 and stuff like that. These people they need to be in relationships. These people need to get.
So then, okay.
They got married.
With that statement, what you just said, you just said something, right? Which means you cast judgment because you said they shouldn't be married.
Yeah, let me hear
So by you casting judgment, that means you have the solution of what they did, why they shouldn't be married. So if you know why they shouldn't be married, don't you think you have the ability to transform that situation to a position where I can take care of a child because I've seen what they did wrong, and this is what I'm going to do to make it right? Do you think you have that capacity? Because obviously you have the capacity to make a judgment and saying that, oh, they should never have been married.
So let me put it on myself.
Right.
Okay. I have what some people would describe as narcissistic
personality disorder.
Tell you nod your head real fast.
Right. No, it's funny you say that because we're about to do a seminar on that. Right? Everybody here knows that. We're about to do a seminar on that.
Okay. Because it was being unbeknownst to me, but I just had these feelings. And everyone I've told that to since that, they're like, oh yeah, of course. Like they knew this though. They knew this my life.
So you know that people that's diagnosed with narcissistic personality, or just so you understand, right? There's three aspects of it. There's psychopath, sociopath, and then there's the Machiavellian, right? So, but those extreme things are like people who lack empathy for others, right?
And those sociopath, the psychopath, and the empathy thing, under those guidelines or under those things, I fill them up. I'm talking about I fill them up.
But did you hear what I just said?
What that what?
Well, the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath is this, right? A psychopath is you make giving me, but I'm gonna explain it to you right now.
Before you go into it, if I'm not even gonna put anything diagnose myself, right? I'm not doing that right now. But let's just say a person has those, right? Should that person now produce and be producing and having children?
So there's a thing that I started with this lecture called self-awareness.
Yeah.
All right. So what you need is self-awareness of who you are. A lot of people who are psychopaths was what they was called in dismissive love, right? And because they felt rejected, right, they turn a lack of empathy and heartfelt towards other people, so as not to get disappointed and rejected by others, and they become self-reliant and do things like this. So that's the start and the making and the building blocks of these what we call cluster B disorders. Now, in the sense of what you're saying is, you have to be, in order to change, in order to think, there has to be a will and a want to change, right? That's the first thing in order to change those type of behaviors. And after there's a will and a want to change, there has to become a self-awareness of who I am, and to develop and to go into a nature where it's nurturing and you feel safe, in order to explore different feelings and to change the aspects of who I am in order to become who I need to be. And with that foundation, it has to develop with what we call mindfulness, right? And mindfulness is understanding where I'm at today, what I'm going through today, not what was in the past, not what will be in the future, but taking care and changing the negative thoughts that come into my mind each time it happened, and change those negative thoughts. Instead of saying I can't do it, I'm just not ready for that today, but I will be. You understand what I'm saying? Changing the affirmations of bad into good. You understand what I'm saying?
So,
and you have to change the talks that you give yourself. Self-talk for those type of people are very important to change.
And honestly, he's actually exhibited that here. Honestly, just the aspect of he has taken the next step. It seems like that.
Right, because the thing is like because I'm very aware of those things, which is why I've came to that conclusion of these things. I didn't know these things while I was living my life, but then now because of those things, I'm not gonna now bring another person into that relationship, or let alone children into that situation, knowing that I have these situations, right?
So can I make a suggestion? It's not so much that you're bringing a person into aspect. What we need to do is, when we find ourselves in a position where we are worried about how we would act in such a situation, volunteer to do certain things, like go to take up a charity that involves helping or mentoring a child, or mentoring. There's a lot of young kids out there that need mentoring, that's constantly going to jail, and constantly in the aspects of what you was explaining. And how do you see, because the first step in AA, in order to not go back and become addicted again or recidivate, is to find somebody and help them, right? And what I find most effective is finding a charity, looking beyond yourself, seeing the aspect and the nature that you have in multitudes of people, and finding out how lucky you are or how blessed you are not to be in certain situations of the people that you're helping, and then develop a nature of gratitude in order to change the aspect of who you are.
That's good. So now I did that on the come out, and by volunteering and being at these different schools and being at these different community centers and seeing myself in these individuals growing up, I've grown a very distasteful, I don't like them. And I never
What do you mean? How can you not like some? So because you understand it, right?
Hold up. I never liked them to begin with. I just wanted to be better than them. I just wanted to be tougher than them. I just wanted to outdo them. I just wanted to be greater than them. I just wanted to be more than them. And that's just something that I've always wanted to be. It just so happened, if you want to be better than someone in Brownsville, what that means this. Or if you want to be, and that means nothing. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I take a step back from the kids, because I realized, like, I really don't like you guys, and I don't want.
So that means, if that's the case, that means you really don't like your behavior.
That's what made me stop. Before Christ, what really made me stop doing any of those kind of things was really looking at other people. Like when you go into jail, you go into these different places, the first thing you do is observe. So when you first go in, you observe it and you're like, damn, that's how I talk? Damn, that's how I act? And then seeing it from outside, I'm like, damn. I'm like, I'm really the bottom of the barrel. Like, this is like a scumbag. Like, you're like a lowlife. Like, this is like the worst person you could possibly be on earth. And then realizing, like, oh shoot, this is what I'm trying to be. So seeing that, that's what made me, because the kids don't deserve that. The kids don't deserve somebody that silently hates them or silently is disgusted by them or looks at them.
No.
I'm telling you, and I'm saying this in conjunction with, I want to bring it full circle with people who, if they have this feeling, they should be birthing kids. And now, and then you over here, that you hating your kids. You're hating silently, and you're wondering why they treating them like this. Because literally, I'm telling you, I just was with the kids yesterday in the community center. I tried to go back. This is the first time I've been back in a very long time. They're like, yo, man, where you been? And mind you, these kids are scamming. they shooting, they scamming and shooting. You got they as quickly as you get a thank you, you get a SMD. And then pulling out $40,000 and telling the guy that's there helping them that I make more money than you in your whole year. I never liked that guy when I was growing up. I just didn't want him to bully me, so I just got tougher than him. Like I and badder than him to conquer him. Like so that's what I'm saying. So like I don't want to give them that. I don't need to compete with them either, because I realize that that's sometimes it happens when I'm in these places where it's like, and I'm telling you, that's where our conflict always has been, because we in this thing where we instead of us bettering each other, we competing, and then we compete, and then it becomes something else, and it's like, yo, hold on, where this come from? Like, why are you doing this? And it come from that. So like, and then we never actually grow as much as we could because we steady competing, and that's what I'm doing with the kids. That's what I realized that I was doing with the kids. I'm over there. I'm thinking I'm making them better by competing with them, and on the face of it, yes, but then it's not healthy.
So what it is I think the when you look at it, you came to a lot of soul searching. So by helping, you saw things that you didn't like, even though you was doing it, and now you see why you was doing it. So I believe you answered a lot of questions that you probably didn't have in the beginning. So it really did help you. It really did help you the way you want to be and whatever. So, but remember, life is a process, bro. So you're not gonna become that guy overnight. But what you did was you took steps in order to change what you are, or to dislike what you was, and to understand why you was. So at this moment, you're still in the process of changing, man. You're still in the process of changing. You're going from that what is it, the caterpillar to the butterfly. So you're still in the cocoon stage, brother. So you're good. So from the thing,
good question. Stay right there. So in a cocoon stage, should I be bringing a female into that while I'm because in the cocoon, bad things are happening in the cocoon.
The bad things need to happen for it to come out. If it stays hidden, it can't grow.
But is that fair to the female or the kid?
So all you have to do is you have to have a person that's understanding of where you at and and the process that you're going through in order for you to grow. Now, if they can't live with that, then they don't need to be there. But as long as you're totally honest about what you are, what it is, what is going on, then at the end, they can't expect anything other than you're going through your process.
Right.
You're called a work in progress.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing. So what you express is different changes. You've grown. You're like the lotus flower in muddy water. You're growing. You're going to be that. You're going to be that person you need to be, because you just said what you did, whether you know it or not, you just expressed yourself as a rehab person. This is what rehab is all about. So you did it. Congratulations, brother.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You gotta take time to celebrate yourself. I think you're putting yourself too low. Like I said, you've seen a lot and you've grown a lot. And you got to appreciate yourself. And if you don't appreciate yourself, it's going to be hard for her to appreciate you. So you can't just say, oh, I'm not good enough for a woman. No. If the woman is patient and she's kind and she's willing to sit there and listen, maybe you are ready for that woman. Maybe if she can bring that to the table. It's not that, oh, you're just going to eliminate yourself. Like Tony said, you just need the right woman. Like all of us need the right woman because we're all in different locations. Just that you have to find the right.
You know women that listen?
Well, they're out there. Of
course they're out there.
You can't disqualify a whole woman.
Hold on. I thought you're supposed to listen to them.
You can't disqualify all women.
So there's all kind of different relationships, King. There's all kind of different relationships. So
Oh, well, I pray that God will send the right one that will work
Exactly.
Yeah. There's all kind of different relationships, King. And what you're describing is right out there, and all of it, all the matter is just a meeting of the minds. So once you hold firm to who you are, it would attract what you need in your life.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's why I know from what you're saying, there's hope. What you told me was very inspirational, whether you know it or not. You told me, yo, I was this, I was that, and I hated. So what you're going through a process is you dislike what you was and you hated it, and now you've seen it that you hated in other people. That's beautiful. So now we established that it wasn't something that was in me. It's just something that I did, whatever. And now you could explain it. Now we need to go to the next step. And now that's on you now. Now you need to take that turn. And in life, there's levels. Of course, there's levels, because the second, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. And what you did was you just graduated to another level, which is beautiful.
Yep.
Celebrate yourself, brother. Celebrate. Go have a dinner and celebrate yourself. Yeah. Take a cake, eat it, and know that you done made progress.
Right.
Yeah, nah, man. I'll tell you, that's where changing came from. That whole testimony that I did that day. I'll tell you, that's where changing came from. I know it.
That's what I'm saying. So, and this is the best I heard you speak in a while. Like, I haven't heard you speak in a while, but so I can say in a while. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you, I love it. This is where you need to be. This is where you need, and then the only thing now is a stepping foundation to where you are. You headed to unlock your potentials. You know what I'm saying?
See, that's it. What's the next? See, you touching on it, and then you step away from it. But what's the next step then?
The next step is what you're ready for. I can't tell you the next step is what you're ready for.
Because that's the thing. Because it feel like because you know what it is. It feel like is that and because that's the whole thing about the changing thing.
Okay, so look at this, right? So
I think changing. I don't think people actually change. They keep growing.
Hear what it is. There's a lot of self-help books to help you to realize what's going on. And what it is like, this is not enough time to really zone into what you actually need. But there's a lot of stuff and a lot of lectures out there to help you grow. Eric Thomas, like I introduced Deech to Eric Thomas, Knicks, and when he didn't like it at first, but now he listens to Eric Thomas every day. He can relate to it. You know what I'm saying?
I am Eric Thomas. I got that. See, no.
I didn't say it was for you. I didn't say it was for you, but I'm saying that's what he liked. That's what he liked. Now you got to find something that suits your nature, that what you like. You know what I mean?
I'm big on. I don't like. I'm big on not listening to.
Okay, so then read. Find something that you like, because I know you're a great reader. So read. You told me how you used to get up in the mornings and your father used to make you read the newspaper. That's how you're. So I think that's what inspired you.
That was a like and once you telling me to do something, then now it's not me.
No. It's a suggestion. It's not me telling you.
No. I understand what you're saying. It's like every time
it's just different ideas. It's just brainstorming and creating different avenues for the next approach. An educated person makes educated responses.
Also, also what I want to say is something that your brother said earlier, and what Chris was saying is, obviously you have an idea of what point you need to get to in order for you to be eligible to be a husband and a father. Have you written that down? Do you have it written down yet? And have you spoken and consulted with people to say, okay, this is where I'm weak at, and this is where I'm strong at, but this is where I want to be. Do you have that documented anywhere?
I no longer believe that the things that I have are weaknesses. I believe that that's what I am. That's how I am. And that I need to be. I understand what I am, and it's one of the things like with Pacquiao. There's a whole training thing that was talking about how with Freddie Roach, and he was talking about they don't really pay attention to guys' weaknesses. because the guy's become a champion with his weaknesses. So he's not, they don't look at, oh, I'm gonna try to take advantage of his weaknesses, because clearly the guy's good enough to excel in spite of him. So really what they was pay attention to what his habits were. So because of his habits, these were the things what he gonna continue to do irregardless. So now,
okay, so even in that aspect, I mean, in any business world, any sports world, there's a game plan.
Yeah.
Do you have a game plan to get to where you need to be? Like, even if, like I said, let's take boxing. You knew you're gonna fight Pacquiao. You don't just jump in the ring. You train to get in the condition to be able to fight Pacquiao, right?
Right.
So there's a training manual. There's a game plan. So like I said, you know, okay, why are you not? But do you want to get to a certain place, right? At the end of the day,
to get married,
or to get to be a better Omar.
Okay.
Do you have a game plan of what you're doing?
Right. So
it's your process.
Right. So I don't. Right. So that's why I looked at so we're taking marriage out of the question. Is this not?
Well, marriage is whatever you're ready for. I can't tell you that you're ready for. It's whatever you're ready for in life.
Where what is the end game for you?
What's the end game for you?
Right.
What I need legacy. We said this. I remember we said this. Right. I remember I was maybe 12 years old, 13, 14 years old. I think I was on a home visit from one of them places. I remember being in the talking to Brother Sean and saying this where Dwayne was there. Me, Dwayne going back and forth like me and Sean. Tony be going back and forth, and we talking crazy, but we talking stuff that we believe in. And I remember whatever our age it was, because I was a kid, and I was legacy, and I want to win. So I don't call that winning. Somebody might look at me and say, "What you talking about? So you think what you're doing is winning?" And I understand what you're saying. It's the same thing when somebody told me, "Yo, you was in jail. I couldn't have somebody telling me what to do all the time." And I look at you and say, people tell you what to do all the time. The reason why I was doing the things I was doing, because I wanted my freedom. so I wanted the freedom to do it. So I want to win. So I want to win.
So your legacy, I don't know what legacy you want to leave behind. So legacy is something that you leave behind, something that you have done to distinguish yourself.
Right. I don't want to be a subplot.
Huh?
Right, and I
you making your own breaking destiny. You're not following the rest. You're doing it on your own. Whatever you're doing, you're creating on your own.
Right. So, you said Eric Thomas, like they should be saying steroids, because that's who I am. I'm the human performance enhancer. That's what people know me as. Like when I come in the building, when I come in the room, when I come in the gym, when I come anywhere. They be like, and even though I'm small, as soon as they experience me, everybody understand. Yeah, steroids. Because and that's what I want. That's the legacy I want. That's the legacy I want. And then I understand that it needs to be. I understand what legacy is about. The people. It's about the people. And it can't. It was a great quote. I don't want to misquote it, but it was a great quote. Thing, and I need to be repeated. If I leave here and I can't be
so you want to replicate yourself.
Replicate,
you want people to take on the legacy.
Right.
This would be my final statement then. The easiest way to replicate yourself is through children.
I know, and that's
I don't understand. You're walking oxymoron.
No.
Cognitive dissonance. Remember, I told y'all the word before. Cognitive. Didn't I tell y'all the word before? I said this is what this is going to be. I told you.
No, it's crazy because I know that's what everybody say too. They be like, yo.
Okay. All right.
So
you can end it on that note.
So we can end it on that. Yeah, we good. We good on that. All right. So, Aaron, you have anything to say before we close out? I'm sorry, we didn't get to you, bro. And
it's all good. I appreciate this. It was eye opening. It was funny. It was everything, man. And it was needed. So I just appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. If you know anybody that's want to join in the conversation, send them the link. When we get it, You know what I'm saying? We welcome the open conversations. As we see, we had a great conversation with Omar today. And you know what I'm saying?
What
We found out
what we got up next. Jericho Road, we back in effect. What we doing?
We've been back. I mean, I've been working. We've been back in effect. You know, I've been doing things. It's just that at the end of the COVID kind of changed the way we really dealt with a lot of things. But we holding this meeting the third Thursday of every month, regardless of what. We're going to talk, you know what I mean? Regardless of who show up. If it's just me, two people talking, suppose it was just me and you. We just have the conversation. It's on Facebook Live and it's on YouTube. So if you missed it, you could go look at it. And so what we want to do is, like I said, we want to build brothers. We not here to hurt or harm each other. There's too much of that going on. We got too much pain already. Why add to that pain? Let's hold each other's hands up and see what we can do to build each other up. As we know, the life that we are facing right now is changed in such a rapid way. The way we do things has changed. And right now, the only way to stand the fire is to stand together. You know what I'm saying? And everybody has an important part to play, no matter what you think. Everybody has a part to play. And let's all play it together and be the best that we can be. That's all I've got to say about that. Anybody else wants to say anything before we close out today?
No, I appreciate this, man. Like, I think like that clip was a good one, the last one. Just how we ended it off where the gentleman was saying that, you know, he wants to do things differently than what was historically done or what the stereotype is. And you made a good point saying like, just by doing the opposite of that doesn't mean that it's going to be better than what we did before.
Right.
And so that's why I believe like why this forum is necessary, because this is how you get better, not just by doing something opposite. Just not, and the reality is that what's crazy is that as much as you can have the good intentions of wanting to do things differently, without the tools, you end up doing things the same exact way anyway, even though that wasn't your intention. And you actually need to have the model, you need the example, you need the brotherhood, you need the fellowship to act the mentor to actually do it differently. And so I appreciate everybody for being here and contributing, because I think this is what it actually takes.
Yeah. Definitely we want to have a financial segment. Like, you know, Sean up with there. We did a lot of stuff that we want to share. And we got certain licenses and stuff that we, you know, so we want to share. So in time we're going to also do that. So like I said, there's a lot of things on the horizon, and there's a lot of arsenals to the tools that we got to add. So like I said, you know, everything is, we in the cocoon process. We getting ready to go to that butterfly state though, you dig? All right, with that being said, everyone have a blessed night. And thank you for showing up today. Thank you for your participation. Everything was welcome and all your thoughts was beautiful. Like I said, Omar, I bet you didn't realize that you was a work in progress and on line to that legacy that you have. Whether it be what it's going to be, you're going to walk into your destiny and you're going to be who you're supposed to be, unlocking those potentials that you have inside of you, to knocking their greatness and knocking Pacquiao out. Let's go with it all together.
Thank you, baby.
All right. Listen, and thank you everyone for showing up, and have a blessed day.
Right.
Salute, champ. Salute.
I sent you the program.
Remember the third Thursday of every month.
The
third Thursday of every month. We're gonna be doing this. All right. Cool.
Hi, my brothers.
Good night.